So I started with only $1,000 and I'm turning that to $100,000 by flipping cars. I already made it to about $36,000 built in the series so far, and I bought my next 2 cars to keep things going. This beautiful beast right here is a 2011 Dodge Nitro. The brakes are looking pretty crusty, so I have to do that. There's a few engine codes that are on, and this thing is absolutely filthy inside, so I have to do a full detail with it. With auction fees, I paid a little over $2,000 for this one. This is a 2013 Subaru Crosstrek, and with this one, we're actually going to be looking to run it through an auction to see how much profit we can come up with. It doesn't really need a crazy amount, but we do have to do a couple of things just to make sure it's ready to go through those lanes. Starting with taking off those stickers that's along the windshields. Then I also have to take out the dent in the bumper right here. We're gonna have to get some detailing done with this one too. And with this one, we paid a little over $3,500 for it. And last but not least, I have to complete all of the work for these cars to get them ready for sale in under 10 hours to show that you can do this stuff while you're working your full-time job. Let's get right to it. All right, so here's my plan. The first thing I want to get to is the Subaru Crosstrek. The auction is actually going to be running in around 2 days from now. So today I'm going to be taking all the time to get this ready for sale primarily, starting with the detailing, not only on the exterior, but of course the interior as well. Time to go to the car wash. So one thing that I have to quickly mention before I get any further. First of all, realistically, again, these cars are going to be sold in 2 different ways. This one I'm selling through the auction. Now, because of that, of course, most people that buy the cars through the auction, they're not going to be expecting to buy some perfect car. Usually speaking, you'll buy a car from the auction expecting to put some type of work in it to get it ready for sale. So I'm not going to be making this car in amazing condition. I'm just going to be making it in good enough condition to where people will still want to bid on the car. So keep that in mind as I'm doing both of these cars. But all right, time to finish up with all the little detailing touches. All right, just finished up with the little interior detailing. I will say, obviously, again, it's not perfect, but it is better at the very least. It's not as much of an eyesore as it was before. As a quick time check, that took me about 2 hours basically to do. So we basically have around like 8 more hours to do all the work, not only with this one, but also with the Dodge as well. And obviously that one has a decent amount more work to do. So let me not waste too much more time. Hopefully we can knock this rest of the stuff out with the Subaru pretty quickly. Of course, realistically, again, if this was being sold through private sale, I probably would just replace the whole bumper, honestly. But again, through wholesale, just trying to make it look better than it was. That's the main thing. So let me try to get to that now. And there we go, looking as good as new. No, obviously not brand new, but it's better than it was, as I mentioned. All right, everything's looking all good with this one. It's ready for sale. Hopefully we can get some good money for it at the lanes. We're gonna take it over to the auction now, and then we'll get to everything we have to do with this car right after. All right, so I'm on my way to drop the car off. One other quick thing I have to mention that I forgot to mention actually earlier in the video is that this is actually a manual transmission car. And I knew that when I bought it, but it was still looking like it was a really good deal. And that was part of why I still went for it. But usually I wouldn't go for a manual transmission car for a car like this, like a car that's mainly just a commuter car for most people. That's actually part of why I am running it through the auction as well, rather than trying to sell it through private sale, because it's probably going to be a little tough to sell this car through private sale and find that one person that is all right with the car like this with a manual transmission. All right, so we're back home, just dropped off that Subaru. We'll see how much that ends up going for at the auction. Hopefully I can get the profit I want. I want to get at least $1,000 in profit off of it, really, but we'll see. Now to get onto that nasty looking Dodge. And what I'm probably gonna do with this one, just to save myself some time, is just hire out a mobile detailer, because realistically, I mean, I have about 3 hours already put in getting some of the cars ready for sale already, just with that Subaru. Realistically, if I don't end up hiring out some of this work, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do everything within 10 hours. I still have to get to the brakes and whatever that check engine light code was on for too. So I'm gonna try to get the mobile detailer out now, and we'll see how that process goes. I am looking forward to what he can do with it though, because I mean, this thing is gross. I want to see how it looks after. All right, so the mobile detailer just finished up with the work, and I'm pretty sure you guys remember exactly how it was looking before, but let me show you the after. This is way better than it was before. This whole area, especially right here, oh my goodness, this thing was so nasty before, but but I'm loving it. This guy, he did an amazing job. Even with the smell too, because before it just smelled literally like mildew. Just opening the door, it literally just a blast of mildew. But now it really just smells like shampoo and soap. That's about it. So at least we were able to save some time with that. But I mean, we still have, again, like 7 more hours to get the rest of the work with the car done to get it ready for sale. Hopefully we can get the brakes done pretty quickly. It's not going to be an issue with that and some type of holdup with that. But let me try to get to that now. Wow, I gotta pause so you can see this really quick. Look how bad these brakes are. It seems like the person who had this car must have never changed these brakes before. That is so bad. And I am done changing the brakes. To be honest, I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought that it was going to be a lot tougher and somewhat of a headache just because of all the rust that was there around the brakes as well. But no, it actually went pretty smoothly, all things considered. I mean, it took me around like 3 hours to do the full brake job on the front and back. So not too bad. And by the way, it was about 200 bucks for the brakes as well. I bought everything online. So now we're about 6 hours into everything for getting the cars ready for sale, but we still do have to get the last thing mechanically done with this car, which is just taking care of that engine core that came up. Now, what I will say is I've been honestly really blessed the different parts of this series because I've bought other cars that had the same code, and there's been one thing that's actually fixed all the code so far. And that one thing is this right here, the little gas cap. So, I mean, if this doesn't work, then I mean, I could just return this, and then a lot of times it's nothing too big of an issue, so it should be a simple fix regardless. But let's just try this out first and then kind of go from there, just because it's a really quick and easy thing to do. All right, time to go for a little drive and see if it goes away. All right, time for the moment of truth. I just came back from my little drive. I plugged in the OBD scanner. Let's see if anything comes up. Hey, nice, we're in the clear, nothing at all. All right, so that was the last thing that we had to do mechanically with this car as well. I will say that took a lot of time putting in that gas cap. I was probably, I'm gonna say like around 4 hours or so to switch that gas cap out. I'm just playing. No, it's probably like, I don't know, 10 seconds to switch that out. So we still have plenty of time realistically that we could do other stuff with this car with. I'm not gonna do a crazy amount more. The car already looks beautiful. Just look at this thing. But one last thing I wanna do, since we have some extra time, is just brighten up that trim. It's looking a little dull. I'm gonna see if I can bring that back a little bit. And this is what I'll be using for it. The Solution Finish does a great job to just quickly bring the black back without too much time. It's not too expensive either. And this is how things are looking after. And what was that? You said you want a before and after? A before? I got you, say less. But this is much better than ones before, and it's very quick work to do too. And that's about it though. I mean, that's basically all the work that was needed for the job. Of course, detailing it saved a lot of time, because if I had to detail this myself, I probably would have been doing it for a good like 4 hours by itself. We would have went well over the 10-hour mark, but we're all good to go. I will say, of course, we did have to drop off the Subaru at the auction. So, you know, that might have been like an hour, you know, of commuting there and back, but nothing crazy. So let's say for everything to get these cars ready for sale, took basically about like 8 to 9 hours with everything all said and done. But now time to see exactly what these cars can sell for. All right, so really quick, let's pause out. I was gonna go to selling the next car, but in the middle of trying to sell these cars, I actually ended up buying another car, which probably will be a very quick sale. And this is it right here. It's a 2013 Dodge Avenger, and it's in good condition. It has no mechanical problems. Even detailing wise, like, this thing is actually good. Like, it's actually already detailed to a degree. I mean, I'll clean it up a little bit more than where it's at now, but it's actually not bad. And I paid a little over 2,500 bucks for it. But now to see how selling these cars will go, starting with that Subaru at the auction. All right, time to see how much we can get from the Subaru at the auction. And we actually got a really good run number too. We're at lane 9 and run number 7. And we're literally the second car going to the auction, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, let's see how much it can get.
Here we go into the compare number 7. Here we go into the compare. Here we go. On down, put down, 41. Not today. Here we go into the compare already. Here we go into the compare. Next one.
Okay. time to recap everything. And I'm gonna go in order of what cars sold first. And funny enough, the car that I bought last ended up selling first, which is that 2013 Dodge Avenger. So all in for that one will be paid with fees. It came to around $2,700 for it, and we sold that for $3,800. So that was a profit of about $1,100. Probably just about the easiest $1,100 that I've ever made in my life. The next one that sold was the Dodge Nitro. With that one, I bought it for around $2,500, and then we put another $200 in for the brakes. Let's say that was $2,700, and then we sold that for $3,800. So that gave us about $1,100 profit with that one. Okay, now for the Subaru, which was the one that I tried to sell through the auction. That one didn't go as planned. So the first time that I ran it through the auction, it was actually my mistake, because that was the first time that I actually ran a car through Mannheim auctions. I've sold the cars through other auctions before, but not in Mannheim. And I didn't know that when I post up the car through there, I have to let them know that the car can go as an if bid if it doesn't meet my reserve price for the car. So let's say my reserve price that I was trying to sell it at was around $5,500 that first auction day. And it didn't end up meeting that. It went to $4,800 as the top bidder, but didn't go up to $5,500. And then instead of going as an if bid, which basically would mean that it would go up for negotiation between me and that top bidder, it ended up going as a no sale instead. So then I ended up running it through the auction again the next week after that, and what do you know, it went for less money. Now what ended up happening was I had to just pick the car up, and I'm just gonna look to sell it through private sale instead. It's not the end of the world. Obviously, I wanted to just get that quick sale through the auction instead, and it would have been nice if I would have just been able to sell it that first auction day. It would have been that quick $1,000 profit that I was looking for. But you know, my mistakes is your lesson, so hopefully you can learn from that if you're gonna be selling a car through places like Mannheim as well. But at least I was able to get good profit off of the other cars without much work. So I made around $2,400 with both of those combined. So that brings us up in the series to around $39,000 built in the series. So just about $40,000 built in the series so far. But having that said, the cars that I got in this video was cars that were purchased from a dealer-only auction, and as well as the cars that I was looking to sell at Mannheim. That's a dealer-only auction. And as you can see, I'm doing everything from the street. I don't even have my own dealership. If you want to do the same thing yourself and go to these dealer-only auctions without having your own dealership as well, just go to the link in the description below. There are still spots available to be able to do the same thing, but it is a limited time type of thing, and limited spots are available. So if you want that, make sure you jump into it soon. But besides that, of course, you're going to be seeing that Subaru again in the next video to see exactly how much I can come up with in profit selling it through private sale instead. So make sure you get subscribed to see that when it comes out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.